prevention, and this is workshop or session number 5. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Ida.
Hi, everyone. Sorry about the technical difficulties this morning. But today we're talking about coping with stress. So I guess it works out because I was pretty stressful this morning. Again, our program structure is we'll meet for 6 virtual sessions every Monday from 9 to 10 a.m. or every other Monday from 9 to 10 a.m. This is our 5th lecture, and then we have one more lecture on the 22nd, the week of Thanksgiving. So again, we ask you to please take the quick survey after each session so that you can enter your weight, fasting glucose, and activity logs. And this is just helping me kind of verify if this lecture series is something that would help and possibly prevent diabetes for our patients who are over 65. As always, we ask you to stay active for 150 minutes weekly. If you can keep a log of your weight weekly, if you're tracking your food with your food log, and think about what went well and what didn't go so well. Oh, sorry, it says lecture 4 topics, but it's lecture 5 topics. And it is, we're going to be coping with triggers, how to cope with triggers of unhealthy behaviors, keeping your heart healthy, how to keep your heart healthy, and then take charge of your thoughts, how to replace harmful thoughts with helpful thoughts. Coping with triggers can help you prevent or delay type 2 diabetes. Triggers are things in your life that you react to in a certain way without even thinking about it. And today we'll talk about some unhealthy food shopping triggers and ways to cope with them, some unhealthy eating triggers and ways to cope with them, and some triggers of sitting still and ways to cope with them. What is a trigger? Let's start by talking about what a trigger is. Triggers can be insights, smells, sounds, or feelings that you react to in a certain way without even thinking about it. They can also be people, places, activities, or situations. Some triggers are helpful. For instance, when you touch something very hot, you let go. But other triggers are harmful. These include triggers that can keep you from reaching your eating and fitness goals. And now let's look at an example. Martha's story. Martha just learned that she is at risk for type 2 diabetes. So she needed to change her eating and fitness habits. On a typical workday, Martha gets up at 5:30 in the morning, and as soon as she enters the kitchen, she starts making coffee. Just the smell helps her wake up. Then she warms up her pastry to dunk in her coffee. By 3 in the afternoon, she's getting drowsy again, so she stops off at the coffee machine in the staff lounge. At the vending machine, she buys herself another pastry to dunk in her coffee. Later that evening, Martha needs to unwind after a stressful day, so she curls up on the couch and watches TV. During one of the commercial breaks, she grabs a bag of chips and a beer. And then what are some of the ways Martha's life that trigger her to act in unhealthy ways? Being sleepy triggers Martha to have coffee. This turns her to trigger to eat something unhealthy, such as a pastry. Feeling stressed, Martha to eat and drink something unhealthy like chips and beer. It also triggers her to lie on the couch instead of being active. Seeing a vending machine triggers Martha to want to eat a snack, even if she might not be very hungry. So those are Martha's triggers. So Martha decides cope with her triggers. These days she gets more sleep, so she doesn't have to get as drowsy during the day. She still has her morning and afternoon coffee, but instead of having a pastry for breakfast, she has some plain non-fat yogurt with berries. Martha stays away from the vending machine at work. Instead, she nibbles on baby carrots. Martha still watches TV to unwind after a stressful day, but she rides her stationary bike or lifts weights while she's watching it. And now she has cut up veggies for her evening snack instead of chips and beer. So let's start by talking about how to cope with unhealthy shopping triggers. What triggers you to buy unhealthy food items? Unhealthy shopping triggers and ways to cope with include I'm hungry. Have a healthy snack like baby carrots before you go shopping. I think we talked about that, never going grocery shopping while you're hungry. I feel sad, anxious, stressed, or mad. Put off the shopping trip until you feel better. Cope with your feelings in a healthy way. For instance, take some deep breaths. It's on sale or I have a coupon for it. Don't clip coupons for unhealthy items. Find ways to save money on healthy items instead. It looks tempting. Stay away from tempting parts of the store. Buy a very small amount. For instance, get a single ice cream bar instead of a whole container of ice cream. Buy a healthier version. Take a close look at the nutrition facts. Don't rely on the word healthy alone. Keep in mind that the store's goal is to have you buy something. I always buy this. Shop with a list and stick to it. Remind yourself that you're making better choices now and try a different store such as a farm stand or Sprouts or something along those lines. It's for my spouse, kids, or grandkids. Show your love in a healthy way. We're also going to talk about how to cope with unhealthy eating triggers. Now what triggers you to make unhealthy choices about eating? Unhealthy eating triggers and ways to cope include I'm hungry. Eat something healthy like an apple. Stop when you feel full or use a small plate. I like to nibble on this while I watch TV. Avoid eating out of large containers and bags. Get yourself a single serving and that's it. Knit, ride a stationary bike, use resistant bands, or lift weights instead. Choose sugar-free gum instead, or nibble on a non-starchy veggie like celery. Watch less TV. Eat only at the kitchen or dining room table. I feel sad, anxious, stressed, or mad. Ease your feelings in healthy ways. I feel bored. Do something healthy. Go for a walk, mow the lawn, or try a healthy recipe. I feel lonely. Contact your friends or family. Meet people, take a class, join a team or a club, or volunteer. Think about possibly adopting a pet. This is easy to make or get. Stock up on healthy foods that are easy to get or make, like baby carrots. I don't want to waste food. And you can freeze your leftovers, and we've talked about that before. What I like is we in our house we have a rule we don't eat on the couch, and the couch is where our TV is. So, my husband is very anal, and I have a cream couch, so there's definitely no food on the couch. But I think it really does help us not to snack while we're watching TV. So if you want something, you have to get up and eat at the dining room table or at the island. So that helps us from sitting and eating, bags of chips or popcorn while we're watching TV. Also, how to cope with triggers of sitting still. What triggers you to sit still instead of being active? I'm tired, so try to get more sleep at night. Take a short nap. I feel sad, stressed, anxious, or mad. Ease your feelings in healthy ways. For instance, take a brisk walk. My joints, feet hurt. Find ways to be active that are easy on your body, like yoga or even meditation. I always lie on the couch and watch TV after dinner. Ride a stationary bike, use resistance bands, or lift weights while watching TV. Be active during your ads, or go for a walk after dinner instead. Since you are at risk for type 2 diabetes, you are more likely to have problems with your heart or arteries. So it's important to keep your heart healthy. Today we'll talk about why the heart health matters, how to keep your heart healthy, and how to be heart smart about fats. Your heart's pretty amazing. With each beat, it pumps oxygen-rich blood to every cell in your body. The blood travels through your tubes called arteries. When something goes wrong with your heart or arteries, it's a big deal for your health. What are some problems that you could have with your heart arteries? What happens if your artery to your brain gets blocked? The answer is you may have a stroke. What happens if an artery to your heart gets blocked? You may have a heart attack. And why do you want to keep your heart healthy? Again, problems with your heart or arteries include chest pain or angina, getting out of breath easily, kidney problems, narrow or blocked arteries to your legs, which can cause pain, numbness, sexual problems, sudden death, thickened heart muscles, and vision loss. You may want to keep your heart healthy to stay active and live a long and healthy life. Some may also have a family history of heart problems. We've discussed why your heart health matters. Now we'll talk about how to keep your heart healthy. Which of these things are you already doing to prevent type 2 diabetes? And, I hope since we started this class that you are staying active, trying to reach a healthy weight and eating foods that are high in fiber, vitamins, water, minerals, and protein, and of course, foods that are low in calories and fat, and learning ways to manage your stress. You also want to start by cutting back on salt and alcohol. And if you are smoking, you may also want to consider quitting smoking. As we said, it's important to limit foods that are high in fats, especially unhealthy fats. Let's spend some time talking about fats and how they affect your heart. We all need a certain amount of fat in our diet. It gives us energy, helps us absorb vitamins. It also helps us grow and stay healthy. At the same time, fat is also very high in calories. In fact, it is more calories than any other food. So in order to reach or stay at a healthy weight, you want to limit your fat. Plus, some fats are good for your heart and arteries. Others are bad for your heart and arteries. Avoid unhealthy fats. Unhealthy fats can harm your heart, and these are the 3 types of unhealthy fats: saturated fats, trans fats, and cholesterol. So foods high in saturated fats include chocolate, chicken skin, coconut and coconut oil, gravy made with meat drippings. Foods high in trans fat include processed foods with hydrogenated oil or partially hydrogenated oil, such as cookies, chips, and cakes. You want to read when you're buying something at the store to look for the hydrogenated oil. Shortening, margarine. Also, foods high in cholesterol is also chicken skin and turkey skin, high-fat dairy products, high-fat meats, liver or other organ meats, and gravy with meat drippings. As we've said, it's important to limit foods that are high in fat, especially unhealthy fats. Let's spend more time talking about fats and how they affect your heart. We all need, oh, this is not. So still we want to do healthy fats. Healthy fats are good for your heart, but they are also high in calories. There are 3 types of healthy fats: monounsaturated fat, polyunsaturated fats, and omega-3 fats. Foods high in monounsaturated fats include avocados, canola oil, nuts, almonds, cashews, olives, olive oil, and peanut butter. Foods high in unsaturated fat include corn oil, cottonseed oil, pumpkin and sunflower seeds, walnuts. And then foods high in omega-3 fatty acids include albacore tuna, herring, rainbow trout, and salmon. And now we're going to talk about taking charge of your thoughts. Recognize the difference between harmful and helpful thoughts. Explain how to replace harmful thoughts with helpful thoughts. Tips include identifying your harmful thoughts, put on the brakes, and think of helpful thoughts instead. Harmful versus helpful thoughts. Let's start by talking about the difference between harmful and helpful thoughts. Harmful thoughts get in the way of your eating and fitness goals, so they raise your risk for type 2 diabetes. Helpful thoughts also help you reach your healthy eating and fitness goals, so they lower your risk for type 2 diabetes. Now we're going to go into Anna's story. Anna is at risk for type 2 diabetes, so she's eating well. She's trying to eat well and be active. Most days, Anna walks around the park, but on Tuesday it's raining. Anna thinks the weather is lousy. I'd better skip my walk today. Anna decides to replace her harmful thought with a helpful one. It's raining, so I'll walk in the mall instead. It will give me a chance to run some of my errands. To prevent harmful thinking, make sure your action plan is realistic, doable, specific, and flexible. Have a sense of humor. Take care of yourself, manage stress, get enough sleep, eat right, and stay active. Keep things in perspective. Be around people who practice helpful thinking. Celebrate and reward your progress. What harmful thoughts does Anna have at first? She thought the weather's lousy, so she was going to skip her walk for the day. And a helpful thought that Anna replaced this with was that it's raining, so I'll walk in the mall instead. And she'll also give her a chance to run her errands. And Anna tells herself, yes, it's raining out, but that won't stop me from reaching my fitness goal. I'll still take a walk. I'll just do it inside. We're lucky because we probably don't have a lot of rain to mess up our walk, so everybody should be walking all the time. Replace harmful thoughts with helpful thoughts. We've talked about the difference between harmful and helpful thoughts. Now let's discuss how to replace harmful thoughts with helpful thoughts. There's so many different types of harmful thoughts. Here are some of them. We'll start with the all or nothing thoughts. That's where we see only the extremes. You don't see anything in between. What are some all or nothing thoughts you might have about changing your lifestyle? So all or nothing thoughts include, I can't eat ice cream ever again. But you can eat ice cream once in a while. And when you do have ice cream, you measure it. Or when we eat ice cream, we go to an ice cream shop versus bringing home a tub from Target. So you have to almost make a date to go and have ice cream. So instead of, just when I'm at Target, I go and get a tub or something along those lines.
Good morning.
Hello. Oh, Gloria, would you mind muting yourself?
I have to hang up. I'm in a class. The teacher just heard the phone. I'll call you back.
Thank you. Exercise is boring. I haven't found an activity that I enjoy yet. And then, so you just don't exercise, but you could keep trying new activities until you find one that you like. Making excuses. That's where you blame situations, things, or other people for your mistakes. What are some excuses you make about changing your lifestyles? Excuses and helpful thoughts to replace them with include, it's too cold or hot outside to go for a walk. I will dress for the weather and walk anyway. I will work out indoors. I can't meet my goals because my wife keeps making cookies. I find the cookies tempting. I will ask my wife to make something healthy instead. Filtering thoughts. Now, that's where you ignore the good and focus on the bad. What are some filtering thoughts you might have about changing your lifestyle? No one else supports my healthy lifestyle. My friend Shelly supports it. I will ask for more support. I haven't stuck to my diet at all this week. I stuck to my diet 4 out of the 7 days. I have a plan to stay on track in the future. I think this is the hardest one. I think when people kind of lose their way, they just give up. It's about staying consistent. If you have one bad day, you ate 2 cookies, yesterday, that doesn't mean today it's okay for you to eat 2 more cookies because you've already given up. That means today's a new day. And today you're not going to eat any cookies and you're going to move on and still make healthy choices. I think that's very hard to do, and that's why consistency is quite important, and you know, and being kind of kind to yourself. Yeah, maybe yesterday you ate 2 cookies, but that doesn't mean, you know, you have to continue on with that life, you know, that lifestyle. You can just acknowledge it, and then, you know, today's a different day and you're going to eat baby carrots and celeries instead today. A lot of people also compare thoughts. I think, you know, if you have a friend who's maybe doing this with you and they've lost a ton of weight, you know, it's hard to be, you know, not want to compare yourself with someone. Just like in our example, you know, Tio has lost so much more weight than I have. So, you know, maybe you ask Tio, what are they doing? Are they, you know, really focusing on their eating? Have they really ramped up on their exercise? You know, what else could I have do to, you know, figure out why my weight loss has slowed down? You know, or someone is so much stronger than you, you know, so instead of trying, you know, you think of something else, but you could think about, you know, how, you know, I'd like to be stronger. What can I do to be stronger? And you could use resistant bands, or, you know, use a little bit of weightlifting to get your strength up. Now let's talk about the doom and gloom thoughts. You know, doom and gloom thoughts and helpful thoughts to replace them with. I just know I'm going to get hurt, then I won't be able to work out. So you may want to think about, I'll take the steps to work out safely. If I do get hurt, I'll find a different way to be more active. I just know I'm going to get type 2 diabetes since both of my parents had it. I know a lot more about how to prevent type 2 diabetes than my parents did, and I'll do what I can to prevent type 2 diabetes. And then, as always, we think about planning for success, what worked for you, what didn't work for you, any changes you want to make. And then remember to be realistic, doable, and flexible. Now we're in the questions and comments section of the class. Does anybody have any questions or comments? I know I'm a very stressful eating kind of person. I'm very I think before I started this class, I was doing a lot of unhealthy habits. I wasn't exercising. I felt that I was too busy to make time to exercise because I work full time, go to school full time, and I have a 1-year-old and blah, 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 blah. And I just didn't want to make room for it. But I think since we've started this class, you know, I've really focused on finding time to exercise. I was watching a lot of TV too, and I'm not a TV person. And all of a sudden I was sitting around watching TV for hours. I mean, hours. And I was like, what? I could go for a walk, and you know, it's beautiful outside. I could go to the park and play with my son and all these things. And honestly, and I just decided to start exercising again. And I ran 6.5 miles on Saturday. That's the longest I've ran in, I think, almost two years since I got pregnant and the pandemic happened and I had my baby. So I think it's just making a decision, you know, and finding the time. So I think and every day is hard. I did have like dessert on Saturday. We just did Halloween. I still have some Halloween candy, and I've been eating a tiny bit here and there. But you know, I haven't let that kind of take over. Just because I had one piece of candy on Tuesday doesn't mean, you know, on Wednesday I'm going to have, you know, more candy. I think you just have every day is different, is important. And you never know, you know, like I said, you know, when you're stressed out, you kind of want to do things that are comfortable. You want to sit around, you want to eat your favorite ice cream, those type of things. So I think, you know, but stress, I mean, walking is actually very good for stress. Staying active is actually very good for stress, you know. Probably eating healthy and feeling well is probably good for your stress. So we hope that as you go through this class and, you know, as we're finishing up, my biggest hope is that you take some of the lessons here and kind of, you know, continue to keep up in your daily life. So does anybody have any stories or anything to share for the week?
I don't have any stories, but also I wanted to, you and I had kind of discussed this, having like one last final celebration class for everybody. So I'll be putting one more class on the end of this, so we can kind of talk about our wins.
Right. There'll be no lecture. It's just kind of coming back together, you know, it'll be actually kind of fun because maybe it'll be the end of the year. We talk about maybe you'll have some goals for the beginning of the year, you know, how can you maintain what you've been doing, especially with us going into the holiday season, you know, and just culturally, we just want to eat all the good things during the holidays. So, you know, what can you do? Maybe go for a walk the morning of Thanksgiving or something. I signed up for a turkey trot, so I'm gonna go and run in the mornings before you know, having sitting around and eating dinner. So just trying to find ways to stay active, I think. And normally if I'm active, I eat better. I feel like I think they all go hand in hand, you know, like if you're moving a lot, you're exercising, those type of things, you kind of, when something gets put in front of you, you're like, well, you know, I'm working out, you know, doing this stuff. I really don't want to kind of derail my success, I think. So that's what I've found, that is, if I stay active, I make better choices. So I think.
Well, perfect. If there's no other questions, should I go ahead and wrap this up then?
Yeah. And then we have one more class. So, oh, is the little hand mean they have a question, or?
So we were playing with the hand earlier. What I don't know is
Okay.
I don't know how to take it down.
Oh, okay. Okay. I was like, what does that mean?
I had a question with regards to supplements. You may have covered this already.
I
Are
have not actually.
Over-the-counter supplements beneficial? I know diet is the most important, but if you're short on particular omegas or
I think omegas as a supplement is definitely a positive thing. I think if you can't get in your healthy fats, I do an omega-3 every day.
yeah, I have allergy to fish and nuts.
Okay.
So
I believe you could, like, flaxseed. Are you okay with flaxseed? It has a lot of omega-3s in it.
okay, I'm using flaxseed oil right now.
Yeah, yeah. So you can put that in. I think that has
What
you know,
about like the one-a-days or Centrum Golden Silver or whatever they're called?
if you don't feel that you're eating enough of those nutrients, a one a day is definitely beneficial. Most people eat pretty well, so they don't really need a one a day. I personally, I take a vitamin every day. I think I eat pretty healthy, but I just like I guess the routine of it. So and it seems to help me. Again, I think it goes all hand in hand. When I'm exercising, I eat better and I take all my supplements. So I think it just goes in with like my daily routines. If I'm taking my vitamin, I know I'm going to exercise and I'm going to make good choices. So I think those are my triggers. So I'm taking my daily vitamin, I'm exercising.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else have any other questions? So next week is our last class. It's really just kind of stay motivated afterwards. Does anybody have anything they want me to answer, work on those type of things. Also, I think for our December kind of celebration class, I'm going to try to do it from home, and I'm going to try to cook something healthy or do a healthy snack. Have my husband help me with something. I'm not a cook or anything like that, but I think it would be fun to, do a quick healthy recipe at home. And we could kind of just watch together, or if I could do it right, I'll try to see if I can have the recipe. I can send out the recipe and we could do it all together, which I think would be fun. So I'll work on that and kind of do a recipe. And if you want to do it with me while we're kind of celebrating the series, that would be fun, I think. So and then if you have any burning questions about, what you're eating or something like that, if you want to ask me, I can work that in our last our last lecture. So and then also my mom takes this class asynchronously, and she eats a lot of rice. And she wanted to know how many calories was 1 cup of rice, and I think it was 250. So, but you have to measure 1 cup of rice, because 1 cup of rice is very small. Because I was measuring my cup of rice, and I was like, oh, this is very sad. So, but I think most people, in their natural feelings of how much rice they should be eating, eats probably 2 cups. So that's 500 calories just there. So okay, thank you again for joining my class, and then I will send out probably an email to everyone once I find the recipe, so you can have that for you for December 6th. I'll also put it up in a slide, I think, when we or send a link while we do our last session.